Warren Buffett says he lives in the same house he bought in 1958 for $31,000. He drives an old car, eats at McDonald's, and clips coupons like your grandma. The internet calls him the Frugal Billionaire and uses him as proof you should save every penny. But here's what nobody tells you about what Buffett actually does with his money. The house story? Technically true, but wildly misleading. That $31,000 house in Omaha is now worth over $1.4 million after renovations. He also owns a $4 million vacation home in Laguna Beach, California, and a property in San Francisco worth millions more. So when he says, "I live in the same house," he's not mentioning the rest. The McDonald's breakfast. That's real, but here's the context they skip. Buffett doesn't eat McDonald's to save money. He eats it because he genuinely likes it. The man is worth over $100 billion. A $5 breakfast versus $50 breakfast changes nothing. But financial gurus use this story to shame you for buying coffee. Here's what Buffett actually does that nobody talks about. He spends aggressively on the things that compound his wealth. In 2016, he spent $32 billion to buy precision cast parts. He owns a $28 billion stake in Apple. That's not coupon clipping behavior. He doesn't save money. He deploys it strategically into assets that multiply. While you're being told to cut out lattes, he's buying entire companies. The frugal image serves a purpose. It makes ordinary people feel connected to him. But the real lesson isn't about saving. It's about allocation. Buffett doesn't care about expensive cars because cars don't generate wealth. But he'll spend billions without hesitation on businesses that produce cash flow. He's not cheap, he's selective. Here's the second thing. Buffett's money doesn't sit in a savings account. Berkshire Hathaway holds around $150 billion in cash and equivalents. But that cash isn't saved. It's positioned for opportunity. When the market crashes, Buffett deploys that cash instantly to buy assets on sale. In 2008, while everyone panicked, he spent billions buying into Goldman Sachs and Bank of America. AP proved. Those investments made him tens of billions in returns. Buffett deploys that cash instantly to buy assets on sale. So when influencers tell you to be like Buffett and save, they're missing the entire point. He saves to invest, not to hoard. Third thing nobody mentions. His tax strategy is wildly different from what he preaches.
The time has come to address inequality. The wealthy must contribute more. We must tax the rich.
But his actual tax rate? Often lower than his secretary's, by his own admission. How? Because he doesn't take a large salary. His salary at Berkshire Hathaway is only $100,000 a year. His real wealth comes from stock appreciation,
which isn't taxed until sold. And he rarely sells, so he pays almost nothing in income tax. Meanwhile, you're paying taxes on every dollar you earn from your job.
This is the game rich people play, but it's not what they tell you to do.
Fourth, Buffett uses leverage, just not the kind you think. He doesn't borrow money to buy cars or vacations.
But Berkshire Hathaway uses insurance float, money from premiums, as leverage to invest.
That float is essentially billions of dollars of other people's money he invests before paying claims.
It's legal, brilliant, and completely opposite of don't use debt.
So when people say Buffett never uses debt, that's technically false.
He uses other people's money constantly, just in sophisticated ways.
Fifth thing, Buffett's charitable giving is strategic, not just generous. He's pledged over 99% of his wealth to charity, which sounds incredible. But here's what happens when billionaires donate stock instead of cash. They avoid capital gains taxes entirely. If he sold $50 billion in stock and gave away the cash, he'd pay billions in taxes first.
By donating the stock directly, he gets the full deduction and pays zero taxes on the gains.
It's generous, yes, but it's also the most tax-efficient move possible. Sixth, Buffett's spending priorities are totally different from what he recommends to you. Invest in index funds and be patient. They offer passive growth with diversification and compounding over the long term.
But he doesn't invest in index funds. He buys controlling stakes in entire businesses. He has access to deals, private equity, and opportunities you'll never see.
The index fund advice is solid for regular people, but it's not what he does.
Seventh, Buffett's lifestyle is optimized for focus, not deprivation.
He doesn't fly commercial to save money. He owns a private jet called the Indefensible. He named it that because he used to criticize corporate jets, then bought one anyway.
Why? Because time is his most valuable asset.
He spends money on anything that saves time or improves decision-making quality. But he won't waste a dollar on things that don't serve those goals. Eighth, Buffett's wealth isn't from saving. It's from owning assets that appreciate. If he saved every penny from age 20 to 90, he'd never reach even $1 billion.
His wealth came from buying undervalued businesses and holding them for decades.
The McDonald's breakfasts didn't build his fortune. Compound ownership did. So here's what Buffett actually does with his money. Synthesizes complex data, simplifies key strategies, facilitates team learning, and guides decision-making. He keeps living expenses low, yes, but not because he's cheap. He does it because lifestyle inflation doesn't produce returns. Every dollar not wasted on status symbols is a dollar he can deploy into cash-flowing assets. He avoids taxes legally by structuring income as equity, not salary. He uses other people's money through insurance float and strategic leverage. He buys businesses, not products. Assets, not liabilities.
And he thinks in decades, not days.
So the lesson isn't skip Starbucks and clip coupons.
The lesson is spend ruthlessly on things that compound and ignore everything else.
Buffett's genius isn't frugality. It's allocation.
He knows the difference between being cheap and being strategic.
And that's the real difference between what he says and what he actually does. The truth delivered.